Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. I'm delighted to have this virtual interview with John here with his music video, Don't Leave Me Alone. Hey, John.
Hey, how are you doing, Danny?
Very good, thank you, very good. It's from Los Angeles to Santa Clarita. We've made it happen in these interesting times. But for those that haven't seen your amazing video, let's take a look at a clip.
Don't leave me alone here by myself. Please don't replace me with somebody else.
John, I'm so glad that post our film festival, we get to share this experience and get to speak more about you and learn about you. But for those that haven't seen your video, tell us a brief synopsis of the film.
Well, it's a music video actually, and it's really just following a journey of a musician and what we assume is his girlfriend. We never clarify, and just we're not sure through the story if they're parting ways or trying to find each other again, which is revealed in the end. But it was really just a journey that matched the sense of the song, and we tried to go with a little bit of a. We wanted to be very classic about it, so it has a very what I call an Ansel Adams kind of feel. Which sort of evokes more of that kind of nostalgia that the video was looking for.
Well, listen, I loved the song. Like I was in love with the song, and I love that mixed with the song, I got this, essentially a short film, that just got me involved with these people and these characters and what was going on. And so I thought it was really well connected. Now music videos, they work a little bit differently, obviously. And I always am amazed how a director works with the artist in creating the sort of artistic vision from the song and to the film. How does that process work together? And how did you come together with this idea for the inspiration for this story?
Well, I should be clear first that this is actually my first music video that I've directed.
Crazy.
I'm kind of a narrative filmmaker. I've done a lot of short films. I've written a lot of feature screenplays. Been producer on a few smaller projects in terms of features. But this was the first time that I had to sort of figure out that kind of world of you want to tell a story, but you're also really about talking about the song, and you want to evoke the sense of what the song is, but also the artist has their own opinion. And so it was a careful, the artist and I know each other, and we kind of found a language to talk about the song. And he really wanted something vintage looking, and that's really the level of his direction. And I started basically pitching him the images I had in my mind. And you kind of take stabs at stuff to see how the artist is going to react to make sure that you're not insulting them or insulting the song. And this one turned out to be pretty easy. I had a music video with the same musician a little bit ago, and I pitched him a concept which was it was going to be a shot for shot remake of a Star Trek episode, Vasquez Rocks. I loved it. I don't think he got the idea, so we ended up not doing that one and doing this one instead. But that's the trick, is just you want to find a language and an imagery that not only inspires you, but also inspires the artist and helps them see what's in their song, see the visual that they are bringing about to you with the words of their music. And so we just kind of worked together closely, and I pitched him ideas and sent him some visuals of things I thought would look great in terms of the style of the photography and the mood. And, he kind of got it and rolled with it, and he worked a little bit with us on some things, but generally speaking, that was my concept that he rolled with. So it's always careful. I've read many pitches for music videos, and they're all, you'd think that a pitch would be specific, but they're really esoteric, and they're very much about, and the mood is this, and that. So they're not really giving a lot of specifics. So it gives a lot of leeway for the filmmaker when they actually get into production to do some interesting things, as long as it's not a surprise to the artist.
I can't believe that was your first music video. That's amazing. I mean, obviously you've been doing a lot of, obviously screenwriting and directing and, in other areas, but that's amazing. This is your first music video. And I just think your artistic vision was great. I'm just so curious then, like, does it work where you like break down the song? Like, how is that process for you? Do you break down the song and then have the kind of the images in mind that you want, or does it work the other way?
I listen to that song over and over again when I first get it, and try to just let images come to me to tell me what I'm seeing. And the only thing I had to go with is the vintage note. I want something, he said, classic, like Sinatra, and that's about it. And so I just kind of listened to the song repeatedly and then jotted down some notes of images I saw in my head. And so that's kind of where the inception came from. And once we got him on board with that idea, I was able to be a little bit more specific of, okay, we're going to shoot in a club, and that'll be the performance bit. And then we're going to shoot in the desert, and that's your journey. And then we're going to have your girlfriend or your lady in another environment. So we kind of took this grand feeling that I had and started to break it down into the tangible elements of shooting the project.
Well, I just felt like you took us into this world that even though it was in a desert and a club, it was some mystical world that you took us in, it almost felt like a dream. It was quite magical to watch. And the production value, and you had to have, obviously one of the little things you got told was to kind of give this vintage look. How did the kind of production design work for you in terms of, find your locations, who you work with to kind of create that aesthetic kind of feel and that sort of kind of that club feel that was so wonderful as well, that felt like it was like a lost little bubble? How was that process for you?
Well, it was a combination of two things in addition to me. The production designer, Nikki Fleming, I've worked with on several projects, and she's very good at being able to sort of bring the right elements within a budget to a project. And she really styled the wardrobe and this club scene and just kind of the overall sensibility of that vintage feel. Mm-hmm. And then my producer, Maggie Jones, she brought about the vehicle. She was very creative in post as well, and helping me kind of, if you notice in the video, there's a few elements that are brought about in color, and some of those ideas were hers, that she's like, oh, it'd be really great if you just had this, because it kind of helped your eye jump out, and you get, I don't know, just a better sense of that vintage feeling because of it. But so between the three of us, we were really able to kind of find these elements together. Nikki also does style sheets, which is great. So I'll send her some images that I've just found that seem to evoke a feeling, and then she'll return it with almost like a bigger book of ideas of wardrobe and everything from the shoes to, even if we're not seeing them, so she's very good about coming back with those details. And so it's kind of a team work in that regard. And, so we all pitch in together, and I guide it so that it kind of comes into a cohesive form.
And how did, I'm sure it must have been a different experience for you as a director working with your actors. When you're working with actors in your music video, there's got to be a different kind of feel. How was that process for you? Because they portray very well on camera. Of course, there's no dialogue. So how was that for you as a director to experience that?
Yeah, it's a little odd. I kind of work the same process when I'm doing something that actually has dialogue, and when there's actually scenes where you have to perform a scene over a few minutes that builds or whatever. There's a lot more working with the actors to sort of build that scene to the right level. I also like when I do narrative work, some of the actors call me the whisperer, because I don't like to give everybody's notes to everybody. So if I see a take and then I have a note from one of the actors, I actually pull them aside and tell them privately, because I want the other actor to react organically to that. So there's a lot of building of elements. It's not surprises. I'm not tricking anybody, but that's stresses.
Yeah.
But when you go to the music video, you have a lot less material to work with. And so because I've broken it down into, remember I said I had feeling, then I broke it down to locations. And then once I got to locations, I was breaking it down into images. So I wanted an image of this or an image of that. And then I was able to work with the actress or actor at that point to just get the right mood. It was really more about a mood in that moment. Mm-hmm. And so you still do takes, you still work with the actors the same way, but it's a little bit more specific to a mood rather than an overall build of a scene.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Well, I think one of the things that, you obviously experience, in creating a music video, is it lives with that song forever. You really just get one shot at creating this world for this song, and it's, will forever be in our existence. How has the reaction been, with the artists, with the fans, with the being at film festivals? We certainly love to have it New Filmmakers LA. How's the reaction been for you?
It's been great. It's been received incredibly well. I mean, this artist had been with another band, and this was his first launch as a solo artist. Mm-hmm. And so he's really needed to use it to build his persona as a solo artist. And it's worked amazingly well for him. He's thrilled with how it came off. He keeps sending me texts saying how much he loves it, which I'm glad. You always want that from a client rather than
of course.
And then, since it's as me as a filmmaker, going back to that, in addition to writing, I used to be a cinematographer. I guess I shouldn't say used to. I am a cinematographer.
Oh.
The last time I really shot a lot of things was in the era of film. And so I kind of, even though I played around with shooting in the between then and now, this was my first foray into real digital cinematography. And so, the reaction from my friends and my professional associates has been great too. I think they didn't really realize, he's an old film guy, he worked on that stuff. And I don't think they really could see that I had abilities until they saw this video. Now they realize, oh, okay, that's great. And so I'm starting to get a lot of conversation about me, not only as a director, but also as a cinematographer, because I like working as a cinematographer as well. So it's been exciting. It's been great. And it's a great start considering it's really my first foray into it all.
Well, as you deserve, John. You're talented. I mean, what can you do? I mean, it's, I think, and it's so nice as well, because when you are multi-talented as a cinematographer too, I mean, it really does show. I mean, your artistic vision and the way that it was shot was just was stunning. It was epic. It was an experience to watch. So I'm hey, utilize all your talents, and and I think I love that you said that. We don't often hear that. I mean, obviously, goodness me, I love seeing film still shot on film. But like anybody, you're an artist, and you adapt to the times, and that doesn't really stop. And so that we're forever changing this industry as we move along. And so no matter what's thrown at you, I'm sure you can deal with it, John. I was just going to finalize and say also as well that what is next for you? Is this is now a new venture in music videos, or what's next for you right now?
Well, I mean, music videos are they're a great way to sort of express some sort of just pure creativity, because they tend to be more creative and less structured, which is great. So I'm already actually prepping another music video right now, but I actually literally this morning finished a screenplay. It's a children's adventure feature screenplay that goes out to a producer here soon. So it's based on, this friend of mine has a production deal. So they said, I need specifically a film that has these elements. And I said, okay, I'll write you a script. And so, 3 months later, I'm going to turn over a script. So it's nice. It's interesting because I'm sort of like, one day I'm writing in the morning, the next day I'm prepping to shoot something, and then I'm talking about directing this other thing. So it's really nice to be able to move around the creative arena in a lot of ways.
Well, I'm glad that this interview didn't interrupt your creative flow and that you got the script done. So, congratulations on that, and utilizing, your creative moments in time, during this particular time in the world right now. I mean, it's also brilliant that you're, doing so much as well. For you as a seasoned artist, and with still so much more to do, is there any advice that you've had in your career thus far that you maybe could share with other filmmakers out there, or maybe something you go by yourself?
Well, I mean, the biggest advice I could give anybody is just stick with it. I mean, I've been in the industry for a long time, and early on, I would talk to some friends who sort of hit it big early on, and they always told me this advice, which was the people who succeed are the people who stick with it and just keep working and focusing on it and making that effort. And I certainly can attest to that as well. It's not you're nobody unless you're super lucky that 1% of 1% that hits it big immediately. The rest of us are all working professionals, and you just need to work at it. And you have to accept that it's the journey, not the destination. You have to enjoy all this process of doing small films and learning new things and trying to get this job or trying to sell this script, because that's the fun part. Doing the project is sort of the cherry on the top of the cake. So, or icing on top of the cake, cherry on top of the sundae.
We'll put a cherry on top too, yeah.
Yeah, keep at it and enjoy the journey. That's my biggest advice to everybody.
Oh, John, that is honestly, that is such solid advice, because I think people could be so, despondent just by how, that part of it that you just mentioned, and sticking with it. Oh my goodness, how important is that, honestly? I'm really intrigued by this new project you've just written, and more things to come, and just please keep making more films, and I love that you're forever expanding your horizons by trying a music video and doing new things, and I think that's so wonderful. But thank you for bringing Don't Leave Me Alone to us, and looking forward to seeing much more of your projects.
Thank you so much, Danny. I appreciate it. And I thank you for your involvement too, because you're a great host and you really bring new filmmakers to life.